praises goes to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, a great milestone. Salutation to the elected of Akim and all four corners of the earth, who they pushing his work and sincerely and true righteously for Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Now I'm doing this little video on putting off that weak nature, and I'm gonna start at Ephesians chapter 6 and 10. He said, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So, we talk about putting on that whole armor. If you're going to put off that weak nature, you got to be rooted in this word. And you have to put on the armor. That armor is this word, that was put here to govern us and protect us. The laws and statute and judgment of the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So you say, put on the whole armor, not a half or some, the whole armor, that you may be able to stand against the walls of the devil, And when the closer you get to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, the stronger the devil come at you. He said, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world. Principalities, those are, I would say, some spiritual things, angels, demons, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. There's a lot of things going on in these days here. When you get into this faith, the devil try to persuade you not to stand fast in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. He try to root you out to this word. But the Most High said, put on your whole armor. Once you got that armor on, the Most High will protect you, man. That's what his word is here for. That's why he left his comforter, the word. Yahweh Shai will defend you, He says, wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil days. We're in the evil days. We've been in the evil days. Look around us. Look what's going on, man. And having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth. That's this word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. His knowledge, his wisdom and understanding. And having on the breastplate of righteousness. When you're in battle, man, you gotta have something to cover your upper torso, and that's this word, which is the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith. You got faith. Anything is possible, man. Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And by faith, what Abraham do? Abraham become a friend of the Most High because he had faith in the Most High. Isaac was supposed to sacrifice his firstborn. He didn't question the Most High. He trusted the Most High because he had that whole armor on. He didn't have that weak nature like some of us do today. Job, he didn't have that weak nature that we do these days. We be in doubt. Most of us be in doubt. But when you come into this faith, supposed to have this armor, man, and kill off that weak nature. And be rooted strong in this word. He said, above all things, taking on the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. No matter how the devil come at you, man, the wicked, how they come at you. You know what I'm saying? You got that shield of faith, you could reject. The Most High give you the power to reject all this madness, man. And take the helmet of salvation. Salvation is of the Jews. You know what I'm saying? You get the helmet of salvation. And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. Not everybody can get the salvation. It's not for everybody, man. Those with the armor, with that strong rooted spirit in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. In the spirit, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. That's the sword of the Spirit, man. It all boils down to this. Being rooted in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. This is the word of Yahweh, Yahushai, and the prophets that been before us, man. Praying always, with all prayer and supplication. This is something we have to continually do daily, morning, noon, and night, and in between. We gotta pray and we gotta cry to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man, you know? For this chaos been going on around us, man. If we can stay rooted in this word, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way you can reflect or deflect these fiery darts. You know? You gotta become that new man and put off that weak nature. You know? He said, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. So, when you come into the faith, man, really and truly, man, you can't go and do those things you used to do, man, before you come into the faith, when you was living as a Gentile. You know, all that madness you used to do, that have to change, man. There's a time and a place for everything. You know? And this is a time of change, because when we look at it, man, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua getting ready to mess a lot of us up, man. 2/3 of our people are going to be going through this hell, this hardship, this time of Jacob's trouble, man. And if you don't have that strong nature, man, that spiritual strong nature, and if you're not rooted in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, it's been one. You're gonna suffer more than you ever suffered before. You know? But, you know, we're not just fighting a physical war, man. This is spiritual warfare we're fighting too, man. And you can't win a spiritual war with a weak, fleshly nature. See me? You gotta fight spiritual things. You gotta fight a spiritual war with spiritual things, man. Which is the word, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You know? You gotta grow in this faith. You gotta grow in this truth. You gotta be willing to die for this knowledge, man. Because if you're not rooted in the word of the Most High, the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you're not gonna win. You know? You'll be left out, man. You know, only the strong survive. There's a saying, only the strong survive. And that's true. Those are rooted in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You know, He said, call here verse 12, he said, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Ain't like your next door neighbor or your guy down the street that you're fighting against. This isn't that type of fight, man. You know? Because what the scriptures say, all people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And you're destroyed because you're not rooted. You're not on solid ground. You know? You're not rooted in this knowledge, man. So you're being destroyed, you know? In the scripture also we're like what? Dry bones? Yeah. He said, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Who's the ruler of the darkness of the world? The devil, right? And his angel, right? That's what we were fighting against, man. And true faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, we could overcome this. Our nature could be built up. When you get into this knowledge, we read this book, you know, which is the sword of the spirit. You see me? This word would protect you because now you know what you have to do. Look at Job, like I said before, look at Job. Job was protected through the word, through the understanding and knowledge. Because he had to kill that fleshly nature, man, that weak nature, man. And Job was built up in the spirit, man. Even his wife threw darts at him. Hey, curse the Most High and die. He said, well, shut up, you stupid woman, man. Come on now. Job know better than that. You know? But in another scripture, Matthew 5:16. You know? And this another scripture here that will tell you, that will show you that that fleshly nature. Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So if you live in according to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, when people see you, you're gonna glow, man. They can see that righteousness in you, man. People are gonna fear. People are gonna love. People are gonna hate. You know? You know, there's gonna come a time that we brothers up there that is preaching and prophesying for Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you know, they're gonna come, you know, the workers of evil is gonna come, put some of them into prison like the Bible said. You know, they're gonna throw some of us into prison. But the Bible said be strong until death, man. He will give you a crown of life. That's what we're working towards, man. And to go through this thing and to do this, man, you have to be, you can't be in no weak nature, man. You know? You gotta be prayed up. You gotta be rooted in this word. You gotta be on one sound mind and accord with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You know? Otherwise you can be jacked up out there, man. It says, the honest way, man, to make it is to kill off that old sinful nature, man. You know, receive this edification of this word. Because in these days to come, man, hell break loose. A lot of our guys, a lot of us, man, ain't know left from right. You know what to do. The scripture tell you what you got to do. This your guide. And to understand this guide, you must have that strong spiritual spirit, man. Not no weak, two-turn nature. It's not gonna work. With that, all praises goes to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Mashiach done honors to the apostles, a great milestone, salutation of the elective, Akim Munir, pushing his word and says, sailing true, righteously for Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. Death to America, fuck the white man.